11-year-old in Warring Football Club, which is a Colac District Football League, in the under 15s, and played there for 3-4 years, and then come out of under 15s, and there was no junior clubs around, so I played for Colac for a few games before going back and playing senior football. So I started my senior career at 15 years of age at Warring. Played there for another 3 years, and in 1984 I went into Colac to play in the Hampden League. Played 2 seasons in the Hampden League. We were in grand finals both years and won a premiership in the last year. Shifted down to Geelong with work the next year in '86. Didn't really have a club to go to, and happened to work with another Geelong West legend in Dennis Irvine, and he brought me down to Geelong West to train, and ended up playing for Geelong West in the VFA from 1986, 7 and 8. The Merge Club happened in 1989, so I shifted across to the Merge Club and played for Geelong West St Peters for the next 2 years, and I shifted across to Adelaide with work and played for Old Scotch and A-grade amateurs over in South Australia for a year, and then returned back here to Geelong West St Peters and played out the rest of my career to breaking my leg in 1997, and that was about the end of it. As a player, I've always, as a junior, I played mainly on ball, but once I got into senior ranks, when I started, I was 5'6" and 50 kilos, so I spent most of my time on a flank, and I was lucky enough to kick goals. So every game I played, I happened to be able to kick goals. So I ended up as a small forward, and I stayed that way. So Colac, I played as a small forward, coming to the VFA, and great, no wings, very quick player. Again, I was able to kick goals, and that's followed me through everywhere I've played. So I've always been stuck as a small forward, outside, roving packs. Played full forward in the VFA a couple of times as a leading full forward. Could mark, so yeah, mainly a small forward. I always wanted to be more of an on-baller, which I had the chance at West St Peters when we merged. I said to John Hoyles when he coached us that I wouldn't play unless he played me on ball. So I had 2 seasons on ball, but when we had the good sides in the 1995, I was back to a half-forward flank because I could kick goals. So yeah, look, really a goal sneak, small forward. Got a lot of the ball still as a forward. VFA days, no wings, you were able to run up all over the ground really, and I had quite a good tank, so I could run around all day and get back to the forward line. So, but a small forward I'd be regarded as. I came down to Geelong West in the VFA in '86 and really didn't expect to play VFA football. I come down because I had nowhere else to go, and trained and played the first sort of half dozen games in the reserves, and was playing quite well, and did my shoulder and missed a game. Come back, played one more game in the reserves, and they tapped me on the shoulder on the Friday and said, you're going to play in the seniors on the Sunday, so which was Port Melbourne here in the at West Oval, and look, it was great. I mean, we had a good side. We should have made finals that year. We just missed out. We beat Coburg, who was on top all year. I think in the second last game of the year, we beat Port Melbourne and knocked them out of the finals, which was a good thing in the last. But it was a great year. I mean, I had a great year and really enjoyed it. Great players: Jock Evans, Neil Gibson, Sylvester Kranz, Mark Dalhouse, Chris Doyle at full forward, Kim Richardson. So it was a really good year. We were unlucky not to make finals. So for me, it was just a buzz to play with some great players and play against some great players. So it was good fun. But that led into the next year, which was 1987, and Bernie Morgan took over as coach, and there was dramas about payments. We lost a lot of our more senior players to the GFL. They'd gone for you know, they probably didn't get paid. I didn't mind about not getting paid. It was just a buzz to play. So, you know, we were down on numbers, and Bernie Morgan took over coach, and of course it led into the infamous period of time where we went on strike, which wasn't held really well with a lot of the players. You know, my memory says, you know, personally, I didn't want to strike, I just wanted to play footy. I didn't care about the money, I didn't care about anything else that was going on, I just wanted to play footy. And I wasn't the only one. There was quite a few that just wanted to play footy, and of course that strike rolled on for quite some time. And look, my recollection is that you know, Bernie was quite strong on the strike. He believed that was the only way that the club would listen to the needs of the players and the needs of the group going forward, and that we couldn't survive without going on strike. Not something I particularly agreed with at the time. But of course we went on strike, and that's all history now. And I think Kevin said it was 6 weeks. I can't remember the exact time, but I do remember our first game back. You know, we got you know, a legionnaire of players. We went up to Frankston, and I think Frankston were on top at the time. And great game of footy, and we had a ball, and we drew with them, much to the dislike of Jeff Saru was captain coach at the time. But so we played out the last part of the year, and we won our last game in the Division 1. We beat, I think, Box Hill the last game, so that was our last game in Division 1. And I knew it was all over. I knew, I had a feeling that was it. You know, I didn't expect Geelong West to play in the VFA at all next year, but we did. We had another year in '88 in Division 2, which wasn't, you know, what we thought. You know, there's some of the sides we played in Division 1, Camberwell, Werribee, Dandenong were back in there, Morty Alec. Clubs were really struggling, so it wasn't just Geelong West, which most people think that, oh, you know, Geelong West was struggling, but VFA as a league was struggling. So the Division 2, you know, we were a regional side. We had Gary Malarkey coaching us. He was terrific from forward. Kicked 11 goals. We had quite a good forward line. He kicked 11 goals one day, and I think, you know, I kicked 8, and Russell Mitchell kicked 5, and that was the last game Morty Alec ever played in the VFA. And that was systemic of what was going on. Camberwell were going to follow out the door. Dandenong followed 2 years later, and unfortunately we followed that year. We actually only missed out on the finals by we drew a game throughout the year, which made us miss the finals that year. The lights were put on, so that was a good part of the year, and I played in that first game, and unfortunately that was it. We played our last game in the VFA, and that's history. We merged with St Peter's the next year, and I stayed on, but the majority of West people left. I think myself and Normie Walpole were the only 2 West people that stayed on, and the rest is history. Well, I had some interesting times with coaches over the period that I was here. So in 1986, Dizzy Lynch was the coach, and he was a running machine. He was a long distance runner, and I think he trained us as long distance runners, not necessarily footballers. And so I played under him, and my first senior game, he told me on the Friday night. I turned up on the Sunday, and Neil Gibson was the captain, and Neil met me and said that Dizzy wouldn't be coaching today, that he'd resigned for personal reasons yesterday, and that he'd be captain coach for the day. And I thought he was joking initially, but it became clear that he wasn't. So that's one for the history books, because not too many people know that Neil Gibson coached us for one game. So he was replaced next week by Darky Harris, and Darky was a fantastic coach. I loved Darky. He taught me so much. The best coach I'd ever had. So he was terrific. The next year, Bernie Morgan coached us, and of course that was our strike year, and probably not the greatest year for a coach or a player to play under. So Bernie coached us for 1 year, and then the next year Gary Malarkey coached us. So was a different coach, had his own ways, terrific player, but coaching-wise he was a bit different. But it was a good year. We had a fun year, and he was the last coach, obviously, the VFA. So, best players that I played with in the VFA days, and there were some really good players, but the standout for me, and I played alongside him on a half-forward flank, was Jock Evans. Played at centre half forward. He gave me my first ever 2 kicks in football by 30-metre handballs into an open space. He was terrific. Sylvester Krantz was an amazing player. Yeah, should have played AFL football really, probably a bit small, but he was terrific. And Mark Dalhouse was a super player in the middle, went on to win a Matheson medal late afterwards, and yeah, played VFA representative side, so terrific players. Look, this football club's been great for me. I come down from Coal Lake not knowing anyone in Geelong, and come to this club and made a lot of friends, and so the club means a lot to me. And the Geelong West days, that first year in '86, you know, will always stand out to me as the best time I ever had playing football. So it was great, and we played in the grand final side here as West St Peters. I'm a life member. I'm a past captain. I'm a best and fairest winner here. So the club means a lot to me. So my kids both played under 18s here. So look, I'd like to see the club survive. We're going through difficult times again now, and I'd just like to see everyone from VFA days through to St Peters, through to Geelong West St Peters now, just getting on board with the club and making it successful, and making sure that when my kids have kids, they can come back here and see the club that I played footy with. And it does mean a lot to me. I enjoy the club. It's been good.
You've given your heart to get here and your soul to get it right. You can take 'em boots and all, but it's sure gonna take a fight. When you spend all week getting to your peak, you're gonna have your say. You bet. On Sunday, it's the VFA.